Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor Templar here, and we're going on to Gateway 3. Now, discussion, not Gateway 3, actually, because there are many gateways. But you've got the basic Gateway 1, which is 8 hertz. You go into Gateway 2, which you start going into a state of high empowerment. Through the staying in this centered reality and opening up all your occult power centers through occult science gym practices. Now, while it is difficult to some degree, anything you do with practice, and if you stay, and the one thing with the occult science is we fully understand this is the 21st century. We don't live in monasteries. We don't live in places where we can take huge amount of time and meditate all day and do all these things. I don't even think these practices are even good as long term. What we do need is short periods of time where we can put in high intensity exercises to achieve what we want and then move on. Do things often for very short periods of time at high intensity. That's the key to learning, and particularly the occult sciences. So, when we do that, we achieve great things. So it's not that difficult if you practice that way. And we describe all this and detail it in our audio amulets as well as our books that talk about the art of centering and the occult gym practices. These are necessities, getting further instructions, which we do give people, and empowering you through energetic symbols and other things works fantastically to anyone who applies themselves. And guess what? It only takes a few minutes a day, not hours of meditation. You don't have to be a chi master. I don't know how any people have ever been able to do that. I guess in certain Oriental structures, they live in big families and are able to live inexpensively and devote their time to things. But it's still not dealing with the real world. So we show you how to do that. Now, as you move into Gateway 2, this is what happens. So once you've done that, you go to Gateway 3. Gateway 3 is where you've accumulated tools and knowledge of how to do things. So you're using a lot of empowered symbols to connect to the streams of empowerment that there is in this world. In this universe, I should say. Earth-based things are just nonsensical garbage. We just happen to be here. But you're connecting yourselves to streams of empowerment that come from basically intergalactic energies. You could call them universal energies, cosmic energies, whatever term you want to use. And people have been using these terms for many, many years. It's not anything overly new. But it is important to use and connect to tools. Now, tools have been designed for this to specifically help you. We are people of tools. We make tools. With tools, we make machines. With machines, we assist our process of empowerment for everything. There are consciousness machines, and that's what these tools are. Plain and simple. They cut down the learning curve dramatically, and in many instances will get you to levels where it is impossible to get just from some concentrated, just from some meditative aspect. You got to remember that meditation and all these practices go back thousands of years, which don't relate to a modern manufacturing society that can now produce very powerful tools to assist you. It's pretty much like saying, well, I'm going to meditate or I'm going to walk instead of taking a car. Pretty stupid. It's backwards. It doesn't make sense. You're meditating because you're trying to achieve a goal. So why not do it in the fastest, best way possible? So you can get on with your life and so many other things. Hiding in the world of monasteries, ashrams, and all this other nonsense is just that, hiding. It's not the real world. The occult scientist is functioning in the real world. There's a big difference there. So we're not looking to escape, we're looking to master. So there are these tools. We have the three-step system of training people. Now, the three-step system is the books. You always need some written information because this can be accessed, and you get all the basics in simple, few pages as possible. Long books don't serve any purpose for anyone. It's boring, and in this day and age, few people even read it. And if they do read it, do they get it? No. That's not a good way of teaching complex information. Complex information has always been passed on verbally. That's what we do in our second step of our first. You get a very to-the-point book that is 50 to 60 pages with empowerments in it. Then you move on to the audio amulets, which have empowerment sigils in them and on them. You listen to a long lecture that tells you some very critical information, how to do things, describes them in a way that only you can do verbally. As well as when you play these, it puts out particular sound frequencies that will empower you further. And there's a special empowered sigil that you place your photograph in that takes you further into these empowerments, connecting you to these streams, opening up these gateways we're talking about. The third step is using some sort of tools or many tools. And this is basically based on what is most efficient and easiest for people to use, which are amulets now. These are special empowered sigils that are charged specifically for you, custom made for you, that you then wear. And throughout the day, you touch for a whole second to draw the energy into you, and you do this often. This system is unbeatable, it's 21st century, it's next level occultism. That's what Gateway 3 is all about, is getting the training to know what to do. Now, there are ways to draw things to you. One of the major things is also to have one of the master tools, which is what's called our Triforce system, which is basically a giant energetic altar in a box, so to speak. Everything you need is in there. There's a combination of very unusual items that, when put together, produce a huge general energetic field for manifestation of anything that you desire. From protection to love to money to uncrossing yourself, you name it, that's what the basic tool does. You simply put your photograph in it, you put your request in it, and then, similar to an amulet, you daily just concentrate over it for a minute or two. Actually, a few seconds, and you're done. Transfer of energetic fields is instantaneous once you link to them. But you do have to link to them. It's not going to work passively for you. You have to do some effort. There are other magical systems, and it depends what you like and what you're interested in. Once you learn how to tap into these energetic systems, there are consciousness machines. There are runes, there are Asian systems, there are pure biophysical practices, meaning the psychic. There are all these things that once you're in or have gone through Gateway 2, you're into Gateway 3 is when you're using all these things. The amulets, the Triforce systems, the methods. But you have to first go through those to be successful. And this is what's been lacking in everyone's life, and the reason why they are not manifesting at the level they should. And manifesting is still something that you need to understand. Few people understand what manifesting is. Now, in my book, What Can I Manifest? It outlines this, including empowers you to higher levels of manifestation. Well, people need to understand this. There seems to be a big disconnect between what you think you can manifest and what magic and other things can do for you. So we need to understand that you have to have certain things in your life to manifest. Money's not going to pop up on your front door in a bucket when you open in the morning. You're not going to find gold bars on your doormat when you leave your house in the morning. So you have to have channels or ways for things to come to you. This could be anything from the lotto to getting a loan or even free money from family. But, you have to figure a way to do it. But you have to have channels. If you don't, nothing's going to come to you. But none of this tends to manifest in people's lives well until they do that. But, all these practices that we've talked about that have been used throughout modern times and ancient times, visualization, meditation, drumming, the use of mushrooms, ayahuasca, all these things which are more radical, or even things that are less radical, candle lighting, doing rituals, forming circles. Well, all of this is getting you into a particular mental state so you can get through the Gateway 1. They're all creating an 8 hertz connection for you. From the 8 hertz, you're then moving into Gateway 2, where you then have to use or can contact, draw to you, or start activating all these other empowered areas. And of course, then you're doing more direct things when you go through Gateway 3. It's just as simple as that. Now, like everything in life, it has to be practiced. But if you're with the proper system and people are writing things from a real world reality, like the occult sciences practitioners do, these are not a difficult situation. But you do. You have to do like most things in life. These are part of things you do in your daily life. I mean, we all really have to get exercise every day. We have to do menial tasks like cleaning ourselves, brushing our teeth, dressing, etc. These are all things we do all the time, and we just take it for granted. Well, we also have to exercise. And there are spiritual exercises as well, which pay off a lot more than many physical, but everything is connected together. But you need to be able to do your centering practices. This is a form of meditation that we shorten down into 10 minutes, and further meditations, the more complicated processes of centering, can be done in about 20 minutes. You then want to do your occult gym practices. Now here's something else you do for short periods of time, 10, 20 minutes, and you are opening up these very powerful fields. But that's what it takes to do everything. I mean, we all have to practice things. We don't go to work and get a paycheck. We have to do a job. So this is all part of the way things. And it's not difficult. We take you step by step through the process. We also are here to assist you in every possible way. And you get personal custom assistance from the guild by a grandmaster or even myself. So all of this is available for you, and this isn't a bunch of pseudo-intellectual, goofball, magical belief systems dealing with some nebulous or fantasy-based god, demon, or anything else. The people involved in these things have a horrible track record of manifesting anything. So they're basically living in a Dungeons and Dragons fantasy world. As all people who follow silly magic, and as all people who follow goofball religions, which that means all of them. This is based on connecting to cosmic energies that the entire universe works off of to empower themselves. People from other planets do the same type of practices to empower themselves. You're connecting to the stream of empowerment, the stream of knowledge, the stream of wisdom. This is all part where you're guided and directed in a very harsh and terrible existence that the planet Earth is. Follow these things, understand the gateways, and follow through the gateways. Get to the 8 hertz, get to the gateway 2 by using centering practices, and open up strong occult energy centers through the occult gym practices, and then apply direct empowerment. And that's the key to all manifestation and all magical empowerment. These things that we've heard about, these moving land type results, have happened. It is possible. Some people have extreme abilities and we're unsure why. But they also tend to be very limited in these abilities. There has been some very miracle people and we just don't understand why. People have been able to do surgeries. The Brazilian surgeon Argos was unbelievable, able to do things for many, many years instantly. We don't understand what's going on there. So it's just plain and simple something that doesn't appear to be repeatable. Why is this happening? How is it going on? Well, these extreme ability things are something that a research organization like the Guild are looking into. But these are the tops of the tops. You can get to a very high level, or you can get to having extreme abilities if you follow these practices. If you train yourself properly, if you get your connection to empowerment streams, your amulets, get a few tools, you're on your way. The whole idea is to use this stuff. You will then start to manifest at very high levels. That's the key to everything. Now, people have been able to manifest doing other things because they're basically doing this in a sloppy and unconscious method. People who visualize, people who are doing any types of traditional sorcery or magic, well, what you're basically doing is getting into 8 hertz. You're then tapping into empowerment energies because you're burning candles, you're using oils, you're using symbols, you're calling on God forms. Well, this is all about Gateway 2 and 3 practices after you get into Gateway 1. And the more you do these things, the quicker and easier it is to get into these states of consciousness. There are ways to go into all different types of brain states that you can kind of push yourself into by using certain technologies. Now, this is something, as I've mentioned in my other audios, you have to take a little care with. But you can push yourself into certain states. Even if you're not using machines directly, you use tone, sounds, music. I mean, everybody is constantly going into some sort of trance state or another, whatever they do. People call this meditative states, but they're basically trance states. People who pray all the time, people that use alcohol, cigarettes. Well, everybody who's using these things is changing their consciousness or their mental frequencies by using these substances for short periods of time and to different degrees of success or negativities. So, but whatever you do, if you really enjoy something, reading, you're going into another state. If you enjoy doing any kind of practice, you're going into certain mental states. Sex is a certain mental state. These are all put you in a certain thing. Chemicals are being released. You're going into an altered state of consciousness. All of these are altered states of consciousness. They're all trances of some sort and to some degrees. We all fall into these, and it's part of life. Our entire existence is about changing our consciousness from the normal, boring, and really depressing, because life is so boring. Everything that a human does is so has to be so structured. We have to wear shoes and clothing and have houses around us and things to move. Well, no other species spends all their time doing that, and that's what we spend all our time doing. Animals normally have clothes, normally have shelters, normally are able to move. Not humans. Because humans are freaks. Plain and simple, we are not part of this planet. But that's for another audio. So, all of these practices is about doing. If you follow these simple things, go to our link that is under this audio, go to our page, and everything is there for your training. Plain and simple, you need to control your mind first. If you don't do it, someone else will. Plain and simple, you're bouncing around on an emotional pogo stick. This disempowers you. This creates a state of confused, high-level hertz that are just zooming all around, and you are not in a state where you can get through the gateway. We've proven this through the research of all these other people who had extreme abilities, who all went into 8 hertz. They calmed the mind down. It was controlled. You click into your higher consciousness states through this 8 hertz gateway. Simple as that. It's all there. This is the secret everybody's been waiting for. Now that you have it, you have to act upon it. But we don't want secrets to act upon. We want mixed secrets. We want to drive up to the window, order it, drive out, and now you're a super being. Well, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think that's very bad for any reality to give instant empowerment to anybody who wants it, who's not balanced, who's not worked for it. It doesn't really make much sense. And it doesn't really help society if everybody is on some sort of living in some comic book world of empowerment and everybody's out fighting in the streets, throwing each other around, breaking down skyscrapers. I mean, if everybody was at this particular level, if everybody was psychic and picked all the lotto numbers every week, there would be no lottos. If everybody won the stock market and knew all the best stocks, there would be no stock market. So think about the realities and how this existence has to work as a general formation. So there are all sorts of things going on that we just don't comprehend in our peanut brain understanding of this reality. This is the start. those who work for this, and it's not difficult. Again, it takes consistency and practice and a bit of time and a bit of money, but it's not difficult, and it doesn't take hours and hours a day. Matter of fact, that's the worst thing you can do. So it can be achieved. You just got to know what's happening, and here it all is, plain and simple. It's now been laid out for you. You have all the secrets. It's now time to act upon it.